Hello everybody, this is Dr. Vijayalakshmi Balakrishnan from Shree Clinic, SIMS Hospitals. I'm going to talk to you about COVID vaccines, the myths and the reality. The next 10 myths are going to open your eyes to the reality about COVID vaccines. The first common encountered myth, COVID vaccines are not true. COVID virus itself is fast and COVID vaccines is a way to make money. It's Chinese created. Well, the vaccine is a reality. Should come to our ICU and see it. A lot of people are dying out of this virus infection and vaccination is the only way out. Next common myth, COVID vaccine causes COVID infection. Well, vaccines cannot produce an infection because the virus which comes in the vaccine is either killed, attenuated, or only part of the virus goes into your system. This cannot replicate in your system and cause an infection. 3. COVID vaccines are untested. No vaccine is untested. All these vaccines are first manufactured in the lab, they go through an approval process, then animal trials, then human trials. Human trials are again divided into phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 trials. During this process, a central approval agency goes through all the data and approves it. The reason why it came so early is because all these approval process and tracking process are all amalgamated. There is a particular central website which WHO has given as R&D blueprint. Our DGCA is also given a central website and everything is linked to it. So the approval authorities are constantly monitoring it and the time lapse between the phases are totally avoided. That is the reason you got it early. All the vaccines are safe and you have not got any vaccine which is unsafe. You are not a lab animal and we are not testing the vaccines on you. Number 5. COVID vaccines cannot be given to elderly people. It cannot be given to people who are on blood thinners. Well, elderly people are the ones who can die out of COVID infection. Young people get it, they come out of it easily. But the elderly people develop a bad pneumonia and a lot of them die. The people who require it most should take it. Elderly people should take it. Your blood thinners including aspirin, clopidogrel is not a contraindication to take the vaccine. And next question which I get from youngsters is alcohol and vaccine. If I take COVID vaccine, can't I take alcohol for 2 months? Well, the answer is there is no direct correlation between alcohol and smoking and vaccination. But please avoid binge drinking and smoking a lot because any binge drinking decreases immunity. And if you are going to do it for weeks after that, the immune response may be muted and you want to get maximum benefit out of the vaccine. Next, COVID vaccines can change my DNA. I can become something different. Well, COVID vaccines are not going to make you into a parrot or a prince. You're going to be the same. These vaccines will not enter into your DNA and change it. It is going to produce some antigens which the body is going to fight against and produce immune response. So next time the virus goes in, they fight against it. It definitely cannot alter your DNA and RNA. COVID vaccine can make you sterile. You cannot reproduce. Well, it is not possible. COVID vaccines, they don't even enter into your genital system and cause alteration in your ovum or sperm production. So don't even bother about that. Next, the common question which I get is COVID vaccines can kill. They can alter your immune system. They can alter your organ function. This is practically impossible. Some of us can develop a reaction against vaccines, which can be against any vaccines. Even if you take a DPT or MMR, we can get fever mildly and it settles down. Same thing happens with COVID vaccines too. Some of us can react very badly and can have an anaphylaxis. That is the reason we offer you to stay in the hospital for half an hour. If there is anaphylaxis, we treat it for you. And for a day or two, you can have a mild fever, body pains, leg pains, etc. And it settles down after that. So COVID vaccines cannot cause major everlasting changes in your body. Finally, one question which I keep getting asked every day. Is vaccine X better or is vaccine Y better? Why am I afford this and not that? So this is not a very simple question. So if you take a particular problem and you are going to sort it out by a software, if you give it to 4 vendors, each of them will produce it differently. So all these vaccines are different pathways to reach the target. All of them are going to produce immunity and you're going to have the same benefit. How they're going to do it is only varies. The only thing which we need to worry about is safety, and probably next comes efficacy. All the vaccines which are available are all safe. So safety concerns should not be there. Next comes efficacy. At this point of time, we are too early into the epidemic. We will not be able to decide which vaccine is the most efficacious. So WHO said that any vaccine with efficacy more than 50% works. So we should assume all the vaccines to be efficacious and take it. And finally, why can't I take it after 2 months? Why should I be the first person to take it? I am not a lab animal. This is one question I've heard from a lot of people. Well, you can have a second spike in 2 months' time. You can have more people killing it. Vaccination doesn't work in isolation. Unless majority of people take a vaccine, it doesn't work. So all of us have to take a vaccine. Only then the herd immunity will build up and we'll be able to conquer this infection. So take your vaccine. Be safe. Thank you.